With Liquor Barn, you can shop your favorite bourbon, that perfect bottle of wine, or discover something new. To place an order for pickup or delivery, download the Liquor Barn app, visit liquorbarn.com, or call your nearest Liquor Barn location. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our email list for all the latest news on products, promotions, and events. Liquor Barn, where Kentuckians go to celebrate life. Cheers!
Welcome to the Bourbon Life Podcast, your source for all things bourbon. Join your hosts, Mark and Matt, as they drink and review bourbons, share news about upcoming events, interview the who's who in the bourbon world, and, most importantly, bring you along for the fun of living the bourbon life. Now, here's your hosts, Mark and Matt.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight live in the Bourbon Life Studios around the flights of the rectangular table, it is my good friends, not Philip and not Chad, but my good friend, Stacy.
Hello.
Hey, Stacy, how are you?
I'm great.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute since you've been.
Well, I decided to come back because Philip and Chad aren't here. So.
Take that, Philip and Chad. That's the only reason Stacy came back, because you guys aren't here.
We begged her to come back, so it wasn't just an episode of you and I.
I know, it was going to be me and Matt. And it was like, oh no, please.
Snooze fest.
I thought about texting you, like, sorry, man, I can't make it.
Oh, yeah. And my good friend Matt is here as well.
I am here.
He just hanging on by a thread now.
Come on. We're having a good time. This is our second night in a row of recording here.
That's right.
You came back?
I actually didn't leave.
He just slept on the couch.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the Bourbon Life Studios.
He slept in the Bourbon Life Studios.
Otherwise known as the basement.
Yeah.
It's not creepy in the basement at all, though.
No, this is far less creepy than my... Well, I don't even have a basement. I have a crawl space.
I got a crawl space.
Yeah, the Bourbon Life crawl space.
That's a great
The Bourbon
great
Life crawl
spin-off,
space.
yes.
Yeah.
Really rolls off the tongue well.
It sounds like a fun place to go visit. And that's where little clowns come out the windows, right? And yeah, there you go. That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, we're happy to be here. I'm happy to be here.
I was going to say, should we ask you, are you happy to be
I'm
here
happy
in
to
the
be
Bourbon
here.
Life
Yeah,
Studios?
I'm always happy.
I think our sponsors are happy that we're here too, right?
Yes, thank our sponsors, Matt. Good point. I'm always appreciative. We are always appreciative of their support and what they do for us. We couldn't do this show and bring all this fun excitement to you all without all of their help.
Well, we could. It would just be really poorly done. Really
It
poor
would be
quality.
underfunded. We wouldn't have these cool no mono microphones
I feel
setups.
really weird.
I know we don't have.
Yeah.
We don't have. First time we don't have the SM7B mics. We don't have the soundboard. We don't have the
Yeah,
headphones.
this is the table. There's so much room for activities.
Yeah.
we could do
I can gesture
uncorded.
freely.
Yeah.
activities. No cords. We're cord free.
What do I do with my hands?
cordless-
What do I do with my hands?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
We can. There's no cords though. That's what they call it.
It's great.
No mono. No more something.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yep. No more something.
No more somethings. Yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. So, hey, look, we got something to drink tonight. We got a couple things to drink tonight.
Just a few.
We decided to make this a rye episode, right?
We did.
Like, on the fly, we're making it rye. I don't have my soundboard to do the... Man.
Yeah, no
Stacey,
doubt.
you got the bottle down there. Why don't you hold that up and just show everybody what we're...
Also, it's
You can hold it. There you go. Look at that pretty, display of what.
la la.
This is the brand new Basil Hayden, or Basil, if you're English, I
Basil.
guess. Basil Hayden,
malted rye.
the malted rye.
Would you like to read more about it?
Yeah, I can't read because it's
Reading's hard.
The
That's
print's
all right.
the print's all small on this one, but I know it is 80 proof, right?
There are no pictures on there, so yeah.
Yeah, there's no pictures, and I got to
Didn't
read.
come with a flip book.
No flip book, no nothing fancy. Obviously part of the small batch collection. Matt, this was kind of the original Basil Hayden was kind of your gateway bourbon,
It was
right?
my gateway, yeah.
Yeah, Stacy, were you ever a
So
Basil fan?
I will admit, it was also one of my gateway bourbons as well. So
I think a lot of people had that kind of experience with Basil Hayden just because it is a lower proof.
but now, well,
Not
I
your
haven't
jam.
had it in a long time. But the
Yeah.
last time I had it, I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
But your tastes evolve,
Yeah, I agree with
obviously, over time. So
100%. So Beam graciously invited me down a couple weeks ago for the release. So got to go. Fred and Freddie were there talking about this. We did a small tasting. Freddie led us through the several different expressions from Basil Hayden. And we have well, I don't want to get into the episode we did last night because it comes out next week, and I don't want to confuse people about that. But anyway, let's talk about the nose. Matt, I always throw it to you. So what do you pick up on the nose on this malted rye Basil Hayden?
I think the malt really comes through. It's got a good nose of cereal note, even though it is malted rye.
Yeah.
It kind of has that dusty oat kind of cereal note to it. But I think some of the rye is shining through. There's rye grain, little rye bread, like a touch of spearmint. This isn't like I wouldn't say baking spice.
Yeah.
Forward. It's more of like the crisp, refreshing rye bread notes that I'm picking up.
It's really light.
Yeah. Light in color, light in aroma. Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm looking to see. I don't see anything on the label, and I can't remember if it's the standard mash bill for basil, but they just used malted rye instead. Because the Basil Hayden is the high rye mash bill, right?
It is.
It's like it's an old granddad recipe, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So it's
older, but lower proof.
The 27, is it 27 or 30? I was thinking it's like 30% rye, maybe.
Bourbon.
I know you think I would know that, but
Me either.
my bad. See, that's the
We
thing.
can get away with this.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't. I want to say 27, but it seems like it's even higher than the Basil Hayden is actually higher than that. So maybe just same mash bill, but the rye is actually just malted. I'm not sure about that. I'm sorry, guys. People can look that up if they want to.
Look it up and let us know.
The Bourbon Life Podcast, your source for all things bourbon, except for all things bourbon.
Except for this rye.
So what about you, Stace?
Well, I'm going to second what Matt said. It does have some cereal notes on it. It's not super sweet on the nose, as Matt also mentioned. It's got a little spearmint, a little like, I almost get like a little bit of lemongrass-y note with it, but I like it. It's just a very light nose.
Yeah, and it's not like a standard Basil Hayden. I think I might have a bottle over there, but it would have been fun to pour one of those up just to kind of compare and contrast it. But from my recollection of Basil Hayden, like I said, I don't drink it that often, but it doesn't.
I like the nose, actually.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, we'll jump in later to the to the taste and everything, but it's the nose is very, very inviting, very enjoyable. I really like it. So guys, let's talk about something. What do you want to talk about? Well, hey, I've got some exciting news. Thanks, Mark. Okay. What do you guys think? You've heard of the Whiskey House, right?
Yeah.
So some news coming out of
Big
Elizabethtown.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was some exciting stuff. That's our friends Dave Mandel and Johnny Hargrove, otherwise John. I guess it's John Hargrove, but I just always
Jonathan Hargrove.
Johnny Whiskey. I mean, that
I was going
was.
to say, does he go by Johnny?
That's what I always thought he went by. I always thought he was Johnny, and I've always called him Johnny just because when we had him on the show. Well, no, but we had him on the show, and we call it, he said he's Johnny Whiskey, so that was the way, and I think that was his Instagram handle. I don't know if he's on Instagram anymore, but the official press release, which I have here, I'm pretty sure it refers to him as John Hargrove. So sorry about that, John. But I still like to call him Johnny Whiskey. So I guess this was maybe one of the, I don't want to say one of the worst kept secrets in the whiskey world, but Matt, we knew about this last Bourbon Festival last year.
It was alluded to last Bourbon Festival. I don't know if it was like meant to be the kind of the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
Like big secret that everybody knows about.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because somebody else, when the press release came out last week, somebody else even commented on Instagram. They shared it, and they said like their headline was something like "the worst kept secret in whiskey is no longer a secret" or something like that.
That's funny.
well, let's clue the listeners in if they're not familiar with it.
If they're not familiar with it,
What is the Whiskey House?
The Whiskey House, they will begin operations July 1st of 2024 in Elizabethtown. So it'll be the first distillery in E-Town, which is just outside, about 20 miles outside of Bardstown. It's a little over a mile. It's about an hour and
Yeah, right.
yeah, on the Bluegrass Parkway if you're coming from Lexington, Matt.
Just don't get off at Bardstown, right?
Just don't get off at Bardstown.
Or get off at Bardstown and make what?
It is
3 rights, 4 rights,
something like that,
and get right back on.
Yeah, it is south of Louisville, though, right? So it's not that far.
That's good because north of Louisville is in Indiana.
And that would be,
not in Kentucky.
That wouldn't
Nobody
be a
wants to
Kentucky
go there.
distillery then, would they? No. It's going to be a 176-acre campus.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be, in the Elizabethtown, Hardin County Industrial Park. That's crazy. But
It's in an industrial park?
That's what it said. That's what,
Well, Boone County.
Potter Jane. And who else is building out there? Michter's. And
It's just going to be part of, where is like that whole distillery campus?
that's the thing in Springfield. That's where Potter Jane, Michter's, I think Jefferson's, as well.
Yeah.
I think they're building something there as well. So it's just the huge...
It's going to be like a rural distiller's row of sorts.
Out in Springfield.
Interesting.
And there's going to be all these distilleries that are going to be located out there in that location. But this will be in E-Town. It's going to be, the press release says it'll be the most sophisticated, technically advanced producer of custom bourbon and American whiskey in the United States. More than $350 million over the next decade will be spent, and they'll employ approximately 50 employees in 2024 and expanding to more than 100 by 2027. So it's Dave Mandel, John Hargrove, or Johnny Whiskey, and Daniel Lynn, who are all part of the Bardstown Bourbon Company. I think most people are familiar. People may not be as familiar with John as they are with David, just because, David has had a lot of success with Bardstown Bourbon Company, and he's like the unofficial mayor of Bardstown. Anybody that does anything, pretty much knows who he is. But I'm excited for these guys, man. It sounds like what they're trying to do is they're not going to have their own brand.
Yeah, that's what I thought I had read too, that it's all going to be contract distilled.
That's right.
So no whiskey house brand itself, just us working for you.
So David's quoted here as saying, the whiskey house will reshape the contract whiskey market in the United States. As the bourbon market continues to grow, we see the need for additional distilling capacity and more consumer-focused solutions. We will provide the highest quality production, guaranteed capacity, and exceptional customer service for our brand partners. It includes 16 41,500 barrel traditional rickhouses, 50,000 square foot palletized warehouse. So they'll have both rickhouse and palletized warehousing, a spent grain processing, a bottling facility, a rail system, access to one of the highest yielding hydro stratigraphic limestone.
That's a mouthful.
Aquifers. I mean, crazy, man. These guys, they're dropping some serious cash.
I just want to ride the rail system.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they going to offer?
Free rides.
Is there one of those little train system, or maybe I'm picturing like Indiana Jones.
Here's what it's going to be, Matt. It's going to be barrels that they've hauled out the top. They cut at the top.
You sit down
and you sit down in the barrels, and they put wheels on the bottom. Yeah, and it's the train.
I'm in.
Takes you around.
That's really what sold me too.
I wasn't going to be an investor until
I found out that there's a real
I'm
system.
still not. Yeah,
but it doesn't sound like it's. It sounds like they're going to be about production. So it sounds like they are going to be what kind of like what MGP was or has been historically, just a facility where you don't go to visit, you don't go tour, you just go. They make whiskey for people, and like you don't go visit them. So,
and if you do, you don't wear shorts.
You don't wear shorts, as
you guys learned that,
Mike and Danny. No doubt about it. But I'm pretty excited for David. I think it's going to be I'm excited for all the guys, but David's particularly, and everything David's been involved with. He's been very wildly successful with, so he did the, what was it he had, Matt, a vodka brand? Was that what the first thing he did? Didn't he start
was he the
caffeinated vodka, wasn't it? In New York or somewhere. Yeah.
I don't think I ever knew that.
Oh yeah, that's what he did first, but he worked for that, not the Federal Trade Commission, the FCC. He was like a big time attorney, right? In DC, and then got into doing all the whiskey stuff or the vodka stuff, and then got in and started doing did Bardstown Bourbon Company, and obviously extremely successful with that. I'm excited to see what these guys do. It'll be a lot of fun. Not that it's going to be a place to go tour.
I was going to say that it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, we can't ride there's no rails, no bourbon barrel train set I guess,
you
Matt.
lied to us.
I know. Sorry about that, kids. What can I say? All right, guys. You want to talk about the whiskey here a little bit?
Why
I
not?
wonder if having
Maybe not, Matt.
think about this. If you are like fully contract distilling forward, do you worry about maybe somebody coming to you and like wanting some weird mash bill that just doesn't work, and then your name gets put on for distilling it?
I don't know, Matt. Hadn't thought about that.
Or are they just going to have a set portfolio and it's like you pick what we have?
No,
I thought the press release read like they were going to be capable of like over 300 different.
Yeah, and I didn't see that, but that
like
was
something
kind of my thought process
you
was
want it, you got it.
It's
type
gonna- yeah, that
thing.
was-
I assume that in these instances that I'm talking about, they'll have like some someone will be like, whoa, no,
yeah,
I
you don't want to
like-
do that. Yeah,
Yeah, bad idea. Like,
yeah, because then you're the distiller, and you got liquid out there that's like that's not so good, is it? Mm-hmm. And then you're the whiskey distilled by the whiskey house.
Yeah, right.
That's a good point. So I would think surely they'd have to have some form of parameters in place that say, you've got to operate within a certain guidelines. Maybe, I don't know, man. That's a good question, though. David's a smart guy. I'm sure they probably thought about these conundrums, prior to taking on clients. And I don't know, I haven't talked to David, so I'm not sure what the status is with regard to their clientele and who they have signed up for
That's
contracts.
also something I'm interested to see. How many new
many
little
new-
craft,
Pop up.
like craft brands are going to pop up out of this?
Yeah, I'm curious to see, which kind of takes us into that whole conversation about the bubble again. Is there that point where, where is the oversaturation? Where is the point? Because I was having a conversation with Chad last week, and he was talking about some barrel prices he's seen have actually started to drop. Mm-hmm. Do you have that kind of knowledge as well, or is it something?
Would just say that is some trending data that I have
trending data that
I've also caught wind of.
Yeah. Okay. So, which kind of makes me wonder then, is that kind of a sign of the times that there's some things?
I don't necessarily know if it's a sign of the times. I don't know.
Or if it's just maybe there's more product out there now.
That's what I'm thinking.
That people have access to. Mm-hmm. So it's a supply and demand issue that there's the supply is starting to catch up with the demand. So the pricing is going to drop to reflect that. So the demand is still there, but there's enough supply to go around to people. But, it's just kind of funny, because David and those guys started Bardstown Bourbon, and that's the whole model. I mean, that's, they do their own stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But, they came in and kind of filled that gap that MGP couldn't fill and have killed it. I mean, obviously they've done a great job. So it's, I guess, maybe a little surprising that, because I don't see a gap, I don't see where is there, there's maybe a supply issue, but at the same time, I'm like, is it that big of a supply issue that you can go out and build a $350 million facility? Is there that big of a need? I mean, I trust David's business judgment, but I'm like, holy crap, that's something I never would have thought in the whiskey industry that there's that big of a need to.
But right now, the supply is limited to certain mash bills.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's a good point, Matt, because this is going to be, good point.
If you want something from Bardstown, you have some options.
Right.
If you want something from Green River, fewer options.
Yeah.
If you get something distilled elsewhere in Kentucky, even fewer options. If you can find something at MGP, only a couple.
Or afford it.
Only a couple choices. So,
and I guess Bardstown, from what I understand, I guess they're pretty locked up. Like you can't get in with them because they have so many clients, so many people they're distilling for.
A waiting list.
Yes.
Yeah, which is I think why Green River was a smart move for them.
To come in.
A lot of their overflow is being pushed.
Good point.
To Green River. So this could be like really interesting to see what happens in 4 years' time, say, when a lot of this whiskey house product is coming to possibly a releasable age.
Yeah.
Like, do a lot of people start jumping ship from their contracts?
That's what I'm interested to see.
Some places, or at that point, are you going to be like, well, now I've got contracts for like some 8-year stuff.
Right. That's a good point.
Bardstown or Green River.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll see.
And of course, don't forget Western Kentucky Distilling's out there too. Jacob and his dad moved on and started there. They're actually having their grand opening tomorrow night. So I hope to go down hope to be able to go down there to that. But Jacob called, did a great job at Green River. Obviously enough that Pritzker came in after they bought Bardstown and bought Green River out. And then Jacob moved on, and now he started Western Kentucky Distilling, which I'm assuming they're going to do some contract distilling, but I think they're going to be primarily focused on their own stuff, I think, if I remember correctly. But it'll be interesting to see. So, guys, let's talk about this malted rye. We're almost at the end of round one. We've drugged that out about as long as we can. So,
hey, it was a good discussion.
I think it was a very, very good, very insightful, and
for relighting that one there.
For just showing up 30 minutes ago and being like, "What are we going to talk about?" I think we did a pretty good job to discuss. No notes.
No notes, no chords.
No notes, no chords, no soundboard.
We're off the rails.
Yeah.
In our little bourbon barrel train.
Yeah.
Stace, have you tasted this?
I've tasted quite a bit of it.
Okay. What do you think?
So, palate is a little flat for me, but as we've discussed, it is quite lower in proof than what I'm typically used to drinking. I get some chocolate. A little bit of that mint still comes through on the palate for me. I also, the first couple of sips I took, and if anybody was watching me intently, I was like kind of confused. A little bit of like, I don't know, there was like a Fruit Loopy note somewhere in there for me, but then it kind of turned more chocolatey as I. Of
course, they're always watching you intent. That's the only reason they're watching the show. Because they can look at Stacy's little cube on the screen. Yeah, there you go. Matt, what about you, man? What do you pick up?
It's sweet. Mm-hmm. Sweeter than I was expecting. Has kind of like a saccharin type sweetness to it.
Okay.
Almost like a little floral, but some of that malt, I think the malted rye is coming through, more cereal grains like we're talking about. The Fruit Loops, I think there's something there. I like that Fruit Loop note. Surprisingly, a little bit of heat on the finish though, like a little cinnamon, a little menthol, a little mint down the the end of it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean it is a high rye mash bill, so that's you get that the chocolatiness. I see what you're saying there. I mean I can kind of pick that out a little bit as well. So I see probably from that
subtle
from that maltiness. I guess is where you're probably picking that up. The cereal grains like you guys talked about. It is sweet, and that kind of surprised me when I went back in for my first because I hadn't tasted any of it yet tonight. So I went back in and took a sip, and that sweetness up front was kind of an initial surprise. Sweet corn, cereal kind of flavor. But then the spiciness kind of surprised me a lot. I like it. I mean, again, it's not something I'm going to sit around and drink on the regular just because it's 80 proof. It's not my thing. But I think out of the Basil Hayden lineup, this might be one of the top.
I prefer it too.
Probably one of the top ones.
Yeah.
For me.
But I think it's somewhat indistinguishable. Like if you put this next to regular Basil Hayden, next to like some of the other Basil Haydens in their lineup, I don't think I would be able to pick one out over the other.
That's gonna be that one.
Based on what it is, but I like it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad.
It's a good experiment to conduct.
I can't remember what the price. I want to say it's around $60 maybe. Is that right? I can't remember.
I do like the label.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they got rid of the papery thing at the top that was like squished.
Oh, yeah.
Squished down.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. But
yeah, it's a cool looking little bottle.
It is a nice bottle. Very pretty.
And obviously it's got the Basil Hayden band around it, so very cool. So
not
final.
bad.
Oh, go ahead.
I said not bad.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something important. So final thoughts.
Joke's on you.
What do you guys think? We do our fixture mixture, right? So what do you think, Matt?
I would have to know more about price before I really
I wish
weighed
I could
in.
tell you what it was.
But I'll say fixture. I would, if it's under $55, which I don't know if it would be, I would buy it. I would say fixture.
I was thinking it was in that $60 range.
$60.99.
Okay, that's what it's.
Oh, I'm sorry, $62.99. But around that
$2.
range.
Gonna knock Matt out of there.
Yeah.
It's gonna knock.
Yeah, I liked it. But I'm
in stock at Total Wine in Lexington.
Is it
I'm
really?
a Basil Hayden guy, so
But we don't shop at Total
fixture it.
Wine because we shop at our.
Yeah, you're going to shop at your preferred.
We shop at our sponsor, Stacy.
Yeah, I know. I'm okay. I'm sorry, sponsors.
So what do you think? You think fixture or mixture for you?
I'm gonna say mixture.
Oh,
That's fair.
it is fair. I mean, it's.
I will say that I like it more than I was going to originally give it credit for. But it's not something that's in my wheelhouse.
I get it. Obviously, I bought it, so I liked it enough at the tasting to buy a bottle. because I thought it was, to me, it was different enough, Matt, from the regular Basil Hayden. It was just something unique.
Yeah. And you know Basil Hayden well, right? After the Masters of Bourbon, because that was on your test list, right?
That was on the test list. So the regular Basil Hayden, which just wasn't I'm just not a big fan of it. It's just not my thing. But I love that. I love the mash bill. I love the old Granddad 114, just the higher proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this would be a devil at higher proof.
Man, if you could get this at high proof,
absolutely, I would love that.
That would be pretty spectacular, I think. So, but yeah, for me, it's going to be a fixture because, well, like I said, I bought it. So I like it. I like it enough to keep it out, and it is a new product from Beam. So I'm gonna be happy with that one for sure. So, guys, let's take a quick break. Get a word from our wonderful sponsors who we always support.
I'm really sorry, Liquor Barn.
We'll be back with more with the Bourbon Life Crew in just a minute.
Three Chords line of whiskeys embody the spirit of creativity. The whiskey is a true collaboration between producer and composer Neil Giraldo and master blender distiller Ari Sussman. The Three Chord team of expert blenders, coopers, and sensory professionals have developed a multi-step process they call Perfectly Tuned Taste. This process begins by carefully selecting the finest bourbon and rye whiskeys from Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana, and then blending them together. Find out more about the whiskeys and distribution in your area at www.threechordbourbon.com.
From our good friends at The Stave comes Lexington's newest hot spot to meet up with friends, have fun, and eat some great food. District 7 Social is a social and beer hall, but it's a lot more than that. Located in Lexington's Distillery District, it's the home of Lexington's first duck pin bowling lanes, and it also features a self-serve beer wall. That's right, self-serve. And if you want more, they've got it. You can try one of their delicious cocktails from the bar or order some great German fusion food from their on-site eatery, Germanish. So what are you waiting for? Be seen, be social. District 7 Social. All right, everybody, welcome back for round 2 of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight, live in the Bourbon Life Studios, around the flights of the round table, rectangular table, whatever, it's my good friend, Stacy.
Hello.
And my good friend, Matt.
Hey, what's up, Mark?
Doing good down here.
I didn't ask.
I know you didn't. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm thinking ahead, Matt, but I'm doing good.
I didn't ask. We don't care.
I was going to say something bad about Philip and Chad. So yeah, that was
let's get back to that.
Yeah. Who are not here tonight.
Yeah, we spent a whole segment
part of the Bourbon Life Crew
talking trash about those two jokers.
We could do that. We could could easily fill 20 minutes.
1,000.
Chad texts,
Chad more so than Philip. Philip's a nice guy.
Yeah. Chad, our group text, Chad's like, I don't feel good. I think I just feel a little sick. So I'm not going to make it.
Such a
And we're going to feel bad. He's probably going to call tomorrow, text us tomorrow, and be like, I've got COVID. Shit like that. Be like, oh man, sorry.
He has menstrual cramps. It's okay.
Oh.
I can say that because I'm a woman.
Well, you can, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. So good point. But we do miss Chad and Philip. Maybe. Not really.
Do we?
No, maybe.
Philip.
But now we're going to do a show in November. And Matt's going to be doing his Thanksgiving preparation stuff for us again. Mm-hmm. So, if you're no show then, you miss out on Matt's salty nuts. So
here we go with the nuts again.
Or is that the Christmas? Those are Christmas nuts.
Christmas nuts.
Yeah, they don't make
extra spicy.
Yeah,
that's holiday.
The holiday
nondescript
nuts.
Holiday nuts.
Okay, yeah, they don't make it for the Thanksgiving. But Matt's going to cook us up some fun stuff for our Thanksgiving show and next month. So that'll be
no pressure. Anything here, Hugh.
It better be perfect.
Better be freaking awesome, dude.
We'll see.
Yeah, you better not mess up my kitchen again either, man.
Yeah, you totally just destroyed it and left.
Man. So what are we drinking, Matt? You brought something for this round. So what'd you get?
I did. I brought, in the spirit of rye, a little Hudson Valley, New York Empire Rye.
New York.
Yeah. This
New York City.
Coppersea. This is their straight rye whiskey. It is an Empire whiskey. So Empire Rye, our expression of New York's native spirit, is made from rye and barley from our own and neighboring Hudson Valley farms. We floor malt the barley, wild ferment in open wood tanks, and distill in direct-fired copper pot stills.
Wow.
A range of techniques we call heritage methods. This is from Coppersea Distilling in New Paltz, New York, which is an awesome little town if you've never been to New Paltz.
I haven't.
Super cool.
Now, where is that?
It is in upstate New York.
Okay.
Probably, I'm going to guess It's been a while. Maybe 50 to an hour and 20 minutes north of the city.
Okay.
So do you have to go to Bardstown first, and then you
go past Bardstown?
It makes
Bardstown,
6 rights.
6 right
Yes.
turns,
Yeah.
and you end up in
You end up there. And something cool about the Coppersea, if you go on their website, they actually have a really cool little video library of educational, instructional videos about how they do their distilling and taking you through everything like the malting process. They show how they do all of that, the distilling, proofing. So a lot of cool educational stuff on their website. But
So they're malting their own barley?
yeah, malting their own barley. And it
cool.
shows the process there of the floor
Wow.
malt, of actually malting it on their malting floor. And
Interesting. Matt, I've never heard of Coppersea before. Did
Yeah,
you know?
it's-
Were you familiar with them?
I
or
was
you-
familiar with them. So I was happy to pick this up. This is a straight rye whiskey coming in, at 48% alcohol.
Okay. So a little bit step up on
So
our
yeah,
Basil Hayden
96
there, right?
proof.
Yeah.
So a little step up. Straight rye whiskey, so aged at least 2 years.
And it's Empire Rye. So
Empire Rye.
is that a set? I can't remember. Is that a set mash bill, or is it? it's like in the 60s on corn or something.
No, it's only rye
mean, it's
barley.
rye.
Yeah.
I want to say Empire Rye needs to be 80-20.
Is it okay? I can't.
Don't quote me on that.
You think?
I feel like you're
I'm a master of bourbon,
right.
not of rye, so I don't. Really,
But I want to say 80-20
Maybe.
rye to barley. And I think it also needs to be bottled at 105 tops proof.
Okay.
So low barrel entry. All the grains need to be New York.
Yes, with a minimum of 75% New York state grown rye.
There you go.
Okay.
In order to be an Empire Rye.
There you go. Awesome.
I knew that. I'm not even looking at my phone, guys.
I'm not looking down.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the glass of
I'm
whiskey.
looking at the notes that I took.
Oh, yeah.
That I probably should have taken.
Yeah. No, Matt. Well, you brought that bottle. No, we're going to drink
It's
it.
like extra credit, so I don't even turn in my homework. Just bring the whiskey.
That's all
That's
right.
right. Hey,
You did well.
wish
though.
that would have worked for me when I was younger.
You did well.
I
No
think
doubt.
looking back, some of my teachers looking back with the knowledge I have now, if I would have shown up with whiskey, I probably would have done a lot better in high school.
Gotcha.
All right, Mark, you're working it there. What you got?
I'm nosing a lot of grain on this one. It has. What's the age on this one? Does it say?
At least 2 years is what
so
it
is.
says.
It's young. I mean, this is
Aged a minimum of 2.
Okay.
So
Very grain forward.
no actual age statement on it.
Almost like straw, like hay kind of grain, but a little straw or hay. Butterscotch, maybe.
Could see that.
Because there's a sweetness to it, and I'm having a hard time finding the right descriptor to it. But I actually get almost like a black tea off of it as well. It was almost like initially I thought it was more like a coffee, but it just keeps coming up like just like black tea. I'm trying to maybe a little mintiness off of it as well. I'm not getting a ton of mint off of it, but there's something there as well. But it's kind of blended in, almost like a mint tea combination there that I'm getting. What about you, Stace?
So you were talking about tea. Are you familiar with sleepy time tea?
Yeah.
So I'm getting a lot of those notes from it. Very grain forward on the nose also for me. I'm almost getting some like cocoa, I want to
Okay.
say, something like that. This also has a nice funk on it,
Yeah.
like
Funk.
Barney, like old hay,
That's
dusty. It's got that kind of funk going on with it, but
like you've walked into a barn that has a wet straw or wet hay in
I
it.
wouldn't necessarily even say like wet, but like maybe just straw that's older, that's been kind of hanging out in there. But I like it. I'm all for funk. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys are beer drinkers or not, but it reminds me kind of like a Saison type nose.
Okay. I'm not.
It's kind of got that like funky.
I'm a beer drinker, but not to your degree. And
Love Saisons.
Matt, what about you, man?
I'm
I'm
interested
sorry,
to try this
Stacey.
one.
Were you done?
No. Yeah, I'm done now.
I cut you.
I'm done now. Matt,
Now
what
that you
are-
had a beer reference, you're done. That's it.
it's whatever.
This is the bourbon life, not the
beer
not
life.
the Cicerone life. Matt.
So rude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a good nose of straw. I think everything that we've said so far, you both hit a lot of notes that I'm really picking up. That barn kind of musty barn type aroma. Straw or hay is definitely there. This is far more herbal than baking spice. I don't get really any baking spice.
Yeah.
I think the tea notes are there. I almost pick up like a little bit of fennel or like black licorice or anise kind of nose coming across on it.
I don't know her. Who's a niece? I do have a niece. She lives in Nashville. I went to a football game with her this week.
Wow.
If you just ignore it, he doesn't even get the satisfaction of us making a bad joke.
I just keep going. Yeah, I mean, you guys can ignore me all night long. What else, Matt? I'm so sorry. I rudely interrupted you.
It's got just kind of the funky notes. I think that the roasted malt is coming across a little bit more as it opens up and sits. I think those cocoa notes are coming in there. A little bit of that roasted toffee, or almost like burnt grain, like burnt pie crust.
Yeah.
But
that's a good,
like in a good way.
Yeah.
I've never known burnt pie crust to be good, but I guess like with
Maybe
pumpkin
one that's
pie
like
or
getting
something.
a little bit too brown.
Yeah. With pumpkin pie, a little bit of whipped cream on it, and a little bit of that like burnt pie crust with that. I mean, I'm not saying you get that in this, but I can see burnt pie crust in that combination.
I don't know if he's being facetious or serious. So
I'm being serious. I mean, if you got a little extra toastiness on a pie crust, but it's a good pie, it tastes good. I like that combination of flavors.
all right, so let's remember that for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
he
burnt
wants it
pie.
extra,
Burnt
Large
extra.
piece. Yeah.
So Matt, we had a good time a couple of weeks ago. We went over to Frankfurt.
Yeah, let's
we
go ahead and rub
did.
that in.
We went. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
let's go ahead
You
and
were
just-
gone. You were. Where were you?
Fort Knox.
Fort Knox. That's right.
Fort Knox Whiskey Fest.
Stealing all the gold, weren't you?
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
Did you see these earrings though?
Ooh,
Just kidding, guys. I
Bourbon
did
Life
not break
Podcast
in.
will not be back.
I did not break into Fort Knox.
Yeah. Yes. So we went to Bourbon on the Banks. Oh, and you did not. I'm sorry.
No, I was trapped inside when you guys had perfect weather.
It was a beautiful day.
It was dreamy.
Yeah. And Mike, Big Chief or Big Tex,
Yeah.
as Matt likes to call him. Big Tex was in town from Texas. He did a live podcast over there Friday night. They had a big soiree, and Mike was all dressed up with a big 10-gallon hat on, up on the stage doing a podcast. He had some great guests over there. He had, let's see, Andrea Wilson was there, and then Lisa Roper-Wicker was there. Jenny Potter was there. Freddie, I almost said Freddie Mercury. Freddie Johnson was there.
Man, if Freddie Mercury was there, damn.
Brian Hara, that wrote the book Bourbon Justice. I can't remember. There's 3 other people, but yeah, it was a fun time Friday night. But then Saturday, the Bourbon on the Banks, we had a great time. Mike had a big tent set up. It was his 50th birthday as well. So
That old fart.
I know. Wait a second.
You just gave away your age.
so
You
had a-
fell right into that one.
had a good time over there. Yeah, but Matt, we got to walk around. Once we finally found a glass. Thank you, Peerless. Was it Peerless? No, it was
Starlight.
it was
James Wood at
James
Starlight.
Wood hooked us up with some glassware.
Hooked us up with
They
some
ran out
glassware.
of glassware?
No, we just didn't get it.
We were press or media or whatever what did they call us? Influencer? No. So I can't remember what our little tag said.
I forget
but,
too.
But no, we didn't get free glassware. So yeah. And
Odd.
I know. But anyway, but we made our way through. We found James and we got us a couple of nice little glasses. And
Yeah,
then
we entered and we like had the radar sonar on looking
right.
for somebody
Glasses.
with glassware. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Luckily we were
I
taking
mean, it was a
care
good
of.
time. It was really crowded. We talked about it off camera before we started this round. And
Well, we got in an hour early too.
Yeah,
I
because-
remember like right when the doors to the
people showed
public
up.
opened, it was,
It was
like
like, oh.
running of the bulls
it was crazy.
to get in there.
Yeah, there was a really long line to get in last year.
Yeah, there was again this year. So we did get an hour early access, which is nice because we got to go. We got to find a glass.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And then we got to drink as well.
And in
But
that
yeah.
first hour, we actually got to talk more to people, I think.
Yeah.
Whereas near the end, once everybody was in, we're like just hustling booze in front of everybody. And
Yeah, that was it. Kind of you walk up, you get a pour, and that was about it. There wasn't much time for conversation. We got to see a lot of people. Talk to Kenny from Bourbon Pursuit.
yeah,
was
that's right.
there.
He interviewed you.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Did
I
some
forgot about
shorts
that.
for
Some
him.
shorts for his Instagram. That'll be, who knows with those guys when that'll come out 6 months from now, something like that.
Yeah.
Who else did we talk to? James. We talked to him. We saw John was there, right?
The whole McBrayer family.
Bill McBrayer, the whole
Bill
McBrayer
Senior,
family.
yeah. His wife was there as well. Had a good time chatting with the McBrayers.
Yeah. Our Terry, who's the brand rep for Three Chord, was there. Matt secured her. It was windy, and people's tents and like placards and things were blowing over. So Matt was kind and helped her.
Such a gentleman.
But it was a good. I mean, it was
Throw
a
a bunch
fun
of zip
time.
ties at me. And
Yeah, she was like, "Here, take this bag." It was like 2 to 6, or we got there at 1, right? So
Yeah.
it was 1 to 6. I think we left a little bit early. We had some other things to do. I did that night. So we had a good time. We did our share of sampling.
I don't believe that.
No. Oh yeah, definitely did. There reached a point where it was like, oh yeah, okay, kind of get in that zone, and you just you feel good. But it was fun to see a lot of people. I love going to those events. I don't like going and working. You know,
I know all about
yeah, you
that.
know all about that, right?
It's much more fun on the other side of the booth.
But even doing a podcast, I don't want to go and do a podcast. I don't want to go and feel like I have to do stuff.
You just want to go kiss babies.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Shake hands, kiss babies. I want to be the David Mandel of the Bourbon Festival. Shake everybody's hand and say hi to everybody, and it was fun. I had a good time, Matt. What do you think?
yeah, I think we had a great time. I enjoyed it. It was
What I remember? No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
fun. It was casual, with just kind of like a runway of like distillery booths on either side. We kind of made our runway model experience like out and back, and then we were done.
That's right. Yep.
It's a very chill festival, a lot more relaxed than KBF, I feel like.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, KBF is just it's on its whole other level,
Right.
This is more. No, I don't want to say county fairish, but it's more. It's more.
It's just low key. They've got like musicians playing,
random places.
along the way,
Yeah.
food trucks, and
So if you
Couple
can't ever
vendors out
make it to
there.
KBF
Yeah.
and you've been wanting to check out a bourbon festival, I
Sure.
think Bourbon on the Banks is a good start.
oh, absolutely.
I would agree 100%. But there are some other ones coming up
Yeah.
that are also fun. Bourbon Con will be doing its
That
second.
was a lot of fun last year. I'm really anxious to see what changes they're going to bring forward this year.
They won't let suckers like us up in the
Yeah, they're
up
like,
in the VIP lounge to sample all the fancy.
that was so much fun.
All the fancy whiskey.
Free pours at
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Whatever. I can't remember what it was that Chad had.
King of
of Kentucky,
Kentucky.
wasn't it? Yeah. I get there and I'm like, "Hey, Chad, I got your pass." He goes, "Well, I'm already upstairs in the VIP." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I thought he was lying. He goes, "No, I'm upstairs in the VIP
And then he
room.
sent that picture. I was like,
And it's
you
like-
son of a...
I'm drinking King of Kentucky." I'm like, "What are you're drinking what?" He goes, "Oh yeah, it's free. Come up and get some."
And it was gone.
And it's gone. Yeah. So.
I might have shed a few tears for that one.
But it was a fun time. And then they had the event. It was a dinner, like
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, right? and then Saturday it continued, right? Because we did the podcast. You and I did the podcast with Wally.
Yep, Wally Dant,
Wally Dent from
Logsville.
Logs. Thank you. Why don't you just go ahead and tell everybody what we did?
I thought you'd never ask. No.
Well, I'm glad you all had fun. For some reason, I forget, I might have been sick or something, but I couldn't
Yeah,
make
that's
it.
right. You didn't make it, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun. I mean, it was a fun event for their first year. I thought they did. I mean, it was kind of tight when it got crowded because it was inside the Marriott here in Lexington at Griffin Gate. So it was a little bit of a tight squeeze at times. But it's the usual suspects, and it was just a lot of fun to be. And again, it was kind of low key, I think, as well.
Yeah,
right?
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, but then they had events going on and like not a lot of seminars, but we did our live podcast. We had a pretty rambunctious. It wasn't a big crowd, but we had
They were mouthy.
they were mouthy, weren't they? I mean,
I dig it though.
it was fun. I mean, I had
They
a
were
good
an
time.
interactive crowd.
Yeah, they were active and came up and getting samples and drinking with us. So we had a good time doing that. So I'm looking forward to that event again this year. Let's jump back to the whiskey because we're almost at the end of round 2. We'll talk about some more things that are coming up, but I haven't even tasted it yet. So Matt,
What?
well, I've been talking, man. I just been nosing it, but I didn't taste it. So what do you get? Oh, you don't have to. Stacey just took a sip. She could jump in, whichever.
Cereal green. Boom, go.
It's got a really like kind of unrefined taste to it, whereas like a column stilled rye kind of, I feel like fits tighter within boundaries of flavor.
Yeah.
This, like, there's some sweetness coming through, like some sweet honey, like lemongrass, but then it's also got baking spice on it, like clove, peppercorn, and kind of like this melange of those two. Then there's some tea notes. That straw comes through. There is cereal grain, like you were saying, Stacy. I definitely pick up a good influence of cereal grain. I think the barley really comes through, the malted barley on the back end. And then it has a surprisingly long finish, I think. Just really nice, like cinnamon, long, not burning, just really flavorful finish.
Well, and I guess that's the thing with the pot still, because, in the column still, like you said, Matt, you can distill up to higher proofs and you can strip out those congeners with the plates. You can say, okay, we want our rye to have these specific profiles. You can strip out those things that'll burn off at certain degrees, certain temperature ranges, and you can get rid of those and really hone in and focus on what you want. But with the pot still, you can't get up to that high of distillation with the, with a column still. So you do bring in a lot more of those congeners that are going to bring those different flavors. So you're not stripping out as much stuff. So you're right. I mean, this is a hodgepodge of a lot of flavors, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in that. That tea it's like there's a lot of tea.
Yeah.
For me, and a lot of, it does have a long finish, spicy on the back end as well. Surprising, but that, young, grain forward as well. So what about you, Stace? Yep.
I do think it is very grain forward. As Matt mentioned, there's like that honey that hit me really hard on that first sip too. I like it because it's complex, and the mouthfeel of it too is nice. Kind of spreads across the palate instead of just like that rye spice hitting in the back. I think it's interesting.
Good. All right. So let's talk some more about these events. We got a couple of things coming up. Yeah. So we talked about Bourbon Con. There's also the Bourbon Classic. Have you guys ever done?
No, we haven't done Bourbon Classic.
Well, the only reason I went this year.
Oh yeah, the only year.
You got salt around here.
Well, and I'll tell you, it was because of Big Tex. Because he was in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't go. So he was like, well, hey, if you guys wanted me to come, I can't make it, but reach out to Mark because he'd love to go. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'll go.
Reach out to Mark, and just Mark, and only Mark. Solely Mark. Please, just Mark.
Well, it's hard when they've got like a 15-person media camp.
No one but Mark.
For me to say, hey,
all Mark.
Can I just... Anyway. So yes, Mark was invited to the media camp. So we got to do a lot of different tours. It was a lot of fun. Got to go to a lot of different places, Beam and Peerless and whatever. The events at night are really fun. It's set up in a big room. You walk around, everybody's set up. You're tasting. A lot of the big people were there. That's where I met Ian Sturzman from MGP this year. Yeah. At that event. And so it's, connected with him. That's how we got him on the podcast. Got to talk to him at that. But it was just a lot of fun to get to hang out with those people and see them all again. And it's in February, right? I mean, there's just not much going on. So Bourbon Con's in January. Here in Lexington, the Classic, I think they still have some tickets for sale.
Is that in Louisville?
That is in Louisville. Yeah, that's at the International Convention Center there this year. But it's a fun event. It's over, I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I can't remember what the exact dates. Okay. Maybe not, Stacy. I take that back. I'd have to double check those dates. I don't remember what they are. But it was a really fun event. And the nighttime events that are the ticketed events, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, you go upstairs and where we were before, just a big room, and everybody, like I said, set up different food, hors d'oeuvres and light plates, stuff like that. They do have VIP as well. You can get into, and they do special pours for the VIP area. So a lot of fun. And then in March, is the New Orleans Bourbon Festival. I've never been.
I'm really trying to go this year.
You've never been? Stacy, have you? No, so neither. We've not been.
Nope, but I always get lots of pictures from my friends that are there.
Everybody that's there? Yeah, right.
So this year I think I'm actually going to go.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try to figure out how to make it happen.
Are you going on business or on leisure?
Don't worry about it.
It's none of your... It's none yet.
None yet.
That's right.
Businessy leisure.
Businessy, leisurely business.
Leisure.
Yeah, bleisure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Business?
Well, I just funny because I was talking to Tracy Napolitano. He and his wife are the ones that started it and run it. I was actually talking to him tonight. I've been trying to connect with him. So he's like, he wants us to come down. And so I think we're going to go down. And that's a few days. I mean, and he said he was trying to expand it out to have other events going on around the city. And it's New Orleans, right? So it's like, crap, how could you not want to go to New Orleans in March and hang out?
I've never been to New Orleans.
drink bourbon. I've been a couple times.
I've never been to New Orleans either.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me from both of you guys. You both
I
seem
love
like,
food.
yeah.
Yeah. I just never made it there.
Never went.
I've actually never been in the state of Louisiana.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I have either.
What the heck?
I don't think I have either.
Well, hopefully we can all go.
Yep.
I think it'd be. Matt was making connections on disco night at the Bourbon Festival while we were at Bardstown Bourbon, connecting with some hotel guys down there.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
don't give me a stack of business cards, put me in a leisure suit, and not expect me to make connections.
Oh my God, that was awesome. So
I still haven't seen pictures of that, by the way.
I don't know.
There is no photographic evidence.
No!
I didn't take one. I completely just blanked and forgot. I did not take a picture.
specifically asked
I know. I should have
for
done
the
it.
picture of the leisure suit.
Yeah.
You guys,
But I hope,
come on.
But I think it'd be a lot of fun to get to go. Matt, maybe you can bring that leisure suit. Because John Edwards and John Waito last
Oh,
year, or
they
this year,
had the
they had
ultimate
their track suits
power
running,
track
right?
suits,
Yeah.
yep.
So people do some pretty fun and crazy things, Matt. So it would be right in line for you to. I'll give you some business cards. You put on the leisure suit and the ruffle shirt again, and you work your magic.
I think it's a great idea.
All right, we're at the end of round 2 here. Fixture or mixture on the Coppersea Empire Rye. Stacy.
Fixture. I really like it.
Matt.
Fixture, and I got to say it was $45.
I was just
Really?
going to ask you what the cost was.
I enjoy it a lot. You don't, do you? Okay.
I don't. It's a miss for me, and I don't
Is
know.
it the funkiness of it? Or
It
what
is. Yeah. It's just not my thing. I
I'd
don't
be
know.
curious what Chad would think about this.
Yeah, I would too.
Chad's
Yeah.
the king of funk.
He is. So he would probably
Good
enjoy
pot.
it.
I'd like to hear Philip talk about it too. A good pot still.
because he loves pot
yeah.
still.
He did.
So
Oh,
Philip,
man.
I know Philip
Yeah.
would
Sorry,
really.
guys.
Yeah, I think Philip would probably really dig this one.
Blue M&Ms, gasoline, mix those together with a turkey leg. That's
That's what
the flavor I'm getting on this.
That was a really good
That was a good Philip. I mean,
impression.
that was very good. Yeah, it just that black tea thing, man. Just that
see, I
young
love
grain
it.
forward. That there's a lot of that grain forwardness. It reminds me of something that I've had before that I did not like, and I won't say what it was, but
We can talk about that off air.
we talk about it off air. But it's just not my jam. So yeah, it's a miss for me. So mixture for sure. So all right, guys, let's take a quick break. Get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with more with the Bourbon Life Crew in just a minute.
The Stave Restaurant is a bourbon lover's paradise right here in the heart of bourbon country. Located at 5711 McCracken Pike in Millville, Kentucky, between Castle and Key and Woodford Reserve, Chef Kyle Klatka prepares amazing food each day that features an elevated Kentucky-inspired cuisine. With a full-service bar, great bourbon flights, and signature cocktails, the Stave is the perfect place to catch up with friends after a fun-filled day of touring the local distilleries. Be sure to check them out online at thestavekentucky.com or at Instagram and Facebook at The Stave Kentucky.
All right, everybody, welcome back for the third and final round of the Bourbon Life Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and with me here tonight, live in the Bourbon Life Studios, it's my good friend, Stacy.
Why? He said good friend. Good friend.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
you
Just
are
one.
a friend.
I've been voted off, so
You're one friend, and Matt is also a friend. My good friends are here.
You don't
Matt
sound
and
very
Stacy.
excited about it, though,
my
is where I'm
good
going with that.
friend.
Oh, would you look at the time?
I'm here
Yeah.
with my friends.
I'm here. Well, I was looking at my camera and it looked crooked, so I was
Oh,
trying to
he's
slowly.
so focused on himself. Anyway, Matt, how are you?
I'm
are you
good.
feeling great for round 3?
Well, I think I would if my microphone had been on this entire time or my camera, but since we know it's just been Mark
Yeah.
all.
Welcome to the Mark Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Mark, didn't even
Yeah,
notice
Hey,
you.
guys, thanks. I'm glad you're both here tonight. Really glad, ecstatic that you're here. So happy that
That's
you're here.
kind of the rough thing about hosting these episodes is you can't, you probably feel guilty kicking us out.
Yeah, I would.
Would he, though?
But I would, because what would it be? Me? Nobody's going to tune in just to see
I mean, it's kind of like a chilly night. You would be maybe feel guilty kicking us out to the cold before.
to the curb. Just get on out of here. And you can't take this next bottle.
Scat, shoot.
Can't take this.
I don't know. He might feel bad about it for a second.
Yeah, maybe. And then I'll eat that crab biscuit you brought me, and I'll be like, I'm all good.
Yeah, joke's on you. I'll take that with me. Sprinkle some
Joke.
X-Lax.
So other than
That's his thing.
wow.
Joke's on you. You're bachelor toast.
Yeah. Little Visine mixed in.
Oh,
little
man.
Little bisky business going on there.
business. Damn. So, guys, how are you all doing tonight?
Well,
Thing as you can tell.
A little frisky, a little whiskey, a little
Frisky
sarcastic, a little, yeah.
I'm never sarcastic.
No, never. Not Stacy. Never. Well, I'm having a good time, even though I'm getting picked on again. I missed that, Stacy. That's what Matt said last night when he left. He's like, he was so happy that you were going to be here
Because I'm such a pleasant person to be around.
Oh, you are a pleasant person, but he knows you like to pick on me, so it makes it.
You're just an easy target.
I agree. What can I say? Anyway, this round.
But your hair looks great.
Yeah, your hair does look great.
Thank you. You know, I noticed.
Are you checking
unfortunately-
yourself out in the camera?
Well, I can see it, and it with the light overhead, it looks
How am I
really,
looking over
really,
there?
really, really white
How's my
and
hair?
gray.
Well, you're wearing a gray sweatshirt as well.
I know,
Yeah.
but that doesn't matter. It's just
okay.
like, man, it's sad sometimes when you look and you're
His
like,
favorite sweater.
it is my favorite. It's my favorite.
That's my favorite sweater. Anyway, Mark, what are
Anyway.
we drinking in this third and final round?
You guys aren't drinking shit because I'm taking it.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
taking
asking,
it
you're
back.
asking for it back.
It's all right. You pour it right back in his bottle. Tonight, to close it out, we are drinking the 2023 Michter's Toasted Barrel Rye. One of my favorites year after year. And I appreciate Michter so much. This is a sample bottle, not for resale. They graciously send this every year for the most part. I'm thrilled to get it. This is 1094 proof. There's really they sent an information sheet, but there's not much information about it. The retail on this bottle is $120. The secondary barrels are toasted. They are not charred at all. They are air dried for 24 months. I do know that much. And that's about it. That's about all there is to say about this. And I'm not sure what their rye. I mean, they don't disclose their
any of that
mash bills
anyway.
or anything.
Not
Yeah. So
disclose.
because I know we've asked Dan that before, and Dan's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not going to tell you anything about it." So, so happy to have this. Just got it. I think it was over the weekend, and I had not even cracked it yet. 'Cause I was
I am shocked.
saving it.
I'm
for,
absolutely shocked
But
that
now
you
I did
didn't have it
taste it
cracked.
because at the Bourbon on the Banks, the Friday night,
Okay, that's probably why.
they had some pour. Yeah, they were pouring up. They had the Michter's 10. They had the Michter's 10.
Really?
Michter's 10 Rye, and they had this.
Oh, this year's 10 Rye, too.
It's so good.
So,
One of my favorites.
very, very nice. So anyway,
Very nice.
Matt,
But they were pouring this up at the Bourbon Festival.
at the Bourbon Festival, right?
Like, just readily available at
Yeah.
the Michter's booth.
I think
Last year they had Michter's
toasted.
10 and Michter's 10 Rye, I feel like, in VIP. And
Yeah.
this year they were just pouring.
because we were.
We were like, suckers, I will
I
take.
remember that. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Slowly piecing together things.
Yeah, I know. It's
Remember
like-
like a big plate of barbecue and a bunch of Michter's 10 Rye.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was a hell of a time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Sad that they've denied us access.
Yeah, thanks
to
a
the
lot,
VIP.
KBF.
Yeah.
We did all right for ourselves.
We made out like bandits again.
Better than we deserved.
You
That's
guys
for
were
sure.
having a lot of fun.
We did. We had a blast. Matt had more fun. Matt had fun for you too. And for
I
everybody
saw him
else,
at the end of the day. I was
for
like,
everybody else that
"Eh."
wasn't even there, we
We had enough fun for everybody on
we
Friday.
both had a great time.
okay.
And I did not hit the Michters that often, just because every time I'd walk past the damn Barrel Craft Spirits,
Yeah, because
thing,
they were right next to each other. It was just like the slushy
I'd
bag
get
that was
the
pulling you in.
Exactly right. Every time. Honestly, I think I had like 7 or 8 slushies, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're topping it off with the
Yeah, when you get the
with
floater
the,
on
with
top.
the seagrass floater, I mean, even though it's probably maybe
I think it was
just a
that slushy
quarter-
keg stand I saw you doing when you stood upside down and they just opened up the slushy machine right
Here's
in
what I'm
there.
going to propose. We need a Bourbon Life slushy machine.
Oh, that would be fun.
And we can make all different
We could make
kinds.
our own slushies and have bourbon slushy night. We had a Thanksgiving dinner with Matt and bourbon slushies with it, and just
I mean, what says the holidays like
Like
a
a
slushy
slushy.
machine?
I do make a good bourbon slush. Would we be opposed to having that for holidays?
never.
For our holiday party?
Certainly.
not at all. I would love
Let's
that.
do it.
All right, so
Slush it up.
Let's jump back to this whiskey, which would never be mixed
Oh,
or
absolutely not.
put into anything else other than enjoyed as it is. Matt, what do you? But wait, before we do that, look at the color on that one.
She's gorgeous.
It's beautiful, and there's no because a lot of these secondary barrel finishes, you've got the char, the heavy char or the light char, but charred either way. So you're picking up additional color. I mean, I guess you could probably pick up, I guess a toasted barrel would give out some color.
Not as much.
But not as much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it does kind of have almost like the reddish hue to it. So I wonder if the toastiness maybe contributes to that in some way.
They do filter as well, so that could take a little.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If that could take anything out.
Excellent point.
So what do you think, Matt, in terms of the nose on this?
The nose is just lovely. It's really, really nice, really inviting. It's got a lot of the toasted qualities, but not like that s'mores campfire that I think a lot of people associate with toasted, where you just think like you're going to get a bunch of cinnamon, a bunch of like s'more campfire, like overly sweet notes. To me, this really brings forward like the toasted wood aspect of it, and not charred wood.
Right.
Toasted wood. It brings forward a lot of like the really nice vanillas, a lot of
sugary.
Those, the sugary, the wood sugars, just a lot of like that natural sweetness that comes out of the toasted oak.
Yeah.
I think like upon first whiff, this was like kettle corn, Cracker Jack, which for a rye is a little bit surprising to get so much corn flavors coming off of it. But I think as it sits around, like more of that rye is coming out, but it's the sweeter side of rye, kind of like toasted chocolatey rye notes.
Gotcha. Stacy, what do you think?
You all are going to laugh.
No, we'd never laugh at you.
Now who's being sarcastic? This is like dessert in a glass for me, but it reminds me of, have you guys been to First Watch? I would assume.
Yeah.
Right? They do a carrot cake pancake.
I've not had that.
In the fall.
But,
And this is like,
okay.
It's giving me that vibe. It's like very desserty, not a lot of the like baking spices on it, but like, I don't know. It's like pancakey to me, cake. There's also a little bit of fruitiness in there too, and I can't quite decide what fruit I'm gravitating towards there, but it's changing in the glass.
It is. I mean, it's kind of weird.
The longer that it sits, it opens up a lot more, but it has a very inviting warmth to it.
Because at first I was getting, it was almost like maple syrup.
Yeah.
Or even like a vanilla infused maple syrup, because I was getting a lot of the, the sugary notes that you're talking about, Matt, but that vanilla kept coming through.
It's like a cream cheese icing note on it.
Yeah. Vanilla icing was what I was thinking as well. That it has that really sweet
I'm really
aroma.
trying not to just chug the whole thing.
I get it. It's almost, though I get some of that woody aroma as well. Actually, just wood, not just the sweetness, but I'm actually starting to pick up a little bit of the wood aroma from it.
It's a beautiful nose.
Not heavy. Oh yeah. I mean, this is absolutely delicious. It is very dessert-like you said. So, we'll have to talk about the palate and the finish here in just a few minutes. So, another topic, something I thought might be kind of fun, since our next crew is going to be really kind of Thanksgiving, talking about food and stuff. But this one, talking about trends, things that happen, things that we've seen in 2024 in the whiskey, not just bourbon, but I mean just...
Wait, 2024?
I mean 2023.
I was like,
what
damn,
things that have happened here. I'm old, guys. It's time to go to bed.
It's okay, Papaw.
2023 that we would like to see continue into 2024. So the things that we've seen this year in the whiskey industry, not just bourbon, but overall, things that have happened, things that are going on, some trends, whatever, that we've observed that you guys would like to see continue into 2024. Stacy, anything you can think of that you might like to?
American single malts.
Oh.
I'm intrigued about it. I'm excited to see more distilleries putting those out. Actually, when I was at Fort Knox, Limestone Branch has one out.
Oh, they do? Okay.
And it's really good.
Okay. Good to know.
108 proof. I'll have to get some more details on the bottle. But
Was it the Yellowstone? It's MGP distilled.
Oh, it is?
It is delicious.
Okay.
Very
You've had
good.
it?
I've not had it, but I've seen it available. It's like under $60, I think, too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
affordable price point. And that's something else that I think is really neat too, because like, you know, we were just talking about how expensive.
wait, did you say 160?
Sorry.
Under.
I thought he said 100, and then you said an affordable one.
It's so affordable.
Yeah.
No.
Wow. And you were just complaining
Money
about
bags.
$120 for this
Hey,
Michter's
remember
rye.
I went to Fort Knox, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Jump change.
Sky's the limit.
That's right. I brought my Rolls Royce this
Thank you.
evening.
I thought I saw it out there on
Yeah.
the Ring camera.
Yeah.
Wondered who that was.
But what I was going to say is, you know, the price of bourbon has gotten ridiculous.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see with the increase of American single malts, if we're going to start to see an increase in price with those as well, or if they're going to continue to be more relatively affordable.
That's a good question. That's a good point. I would say, Stacey, that was my number one answer as well. Yeah. And I'm not even, you know, I'm not a Scotch guy, but this whole American single malt category, the advancement, the big distilleries getting into it. I mean, I know the smaller craft guys have been into it, but you know, the bigger distilleries have hopped into it as well.
What was that one that we tried? Was that the Claremont?
The Claremont Steep.
That wasn't bad.
From Beam. I enjoyed it. You weren't much of a fan of it, were you? Yeah. So
No, it was a miss for me.
yeah, I enjoyed it though. I did like it. But you know, the single malts that we've been having, like, was it Old Line? Is that?
Old Line is
from
all
Maryland?
single malt.
Yeah. Their stuff was really good.
had any of their
Stranahan's, we've not had them on the show, but you bring.
Yeah, I brought that. Was that Oloroso sherry finish?
I think
Stranahan's.
Maybe that was. And then what was the one that?
single malt.
Remember Nate? I mean, he was one of the first ones that had us-
Brooklyn.
The Brooklyn.
The
that,
brownstone.
God, tastes like blueberries and chocolate. And,
Yeah, chocolate.
oh crap!
blueberry.
It was, and that was probably the first. That was a single malt, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like our first little.
Yeah. Because Nate was one
Foray
of our
down there.
first 4 or 5 guests.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I just got this bottle. I'll share it with you guys." And we were both just like, "Oh." So yeah, I'm excited, you know, and I know that the regulations have been proposed, and I guess the period. I don't know. I'm assuming I don't follow it as an attorney. That's not like, ooh, this is so interesting. I'm going to follow this.
You should, though.
I know I probably should, but I don't. So I don't know where things are still, but I don't think it's been codified, so it's not an official category yet. But I think most of the people in the industry, my understanding is, had already been doing all the things, like their standards were already set across the board. And I think there have been a lot of conversations between these craft distillers. Here's the way things should be done. And everybody's kind of adhering already to the same standards. So the ones that were promulgated are going to be the ones that are going to be adopted, and everybody already kind of fits in to those. So they're not going to have to change a lot of things. But that was my number one choice as well, Stacey. So
Stole that from
damn
me.
it, I should have gone first. Matt, what about you? You can't say American single malt.
I like the blended whiskey category,
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good one.
which is a category that I think gets a lot of flack
Yeah,
because
I
of
agree.
what blended whiskey used to be, which was like 99% neutral grain spirits,
yeah, right.
and then like 1% whiskey that had been run through an old barrel, like
Yeah.
a distillery owned like 3X whiskey barrels, and they threw all of their whiskey through those same 3 barrels and blended it all together and
Yeah.
called it blended whiskey. But that was like the trend back in like the 70s, the 80s, like when you think
Sure.
of like old Canadian whiskeys, like
Yeah.
Windsor Club, Canadian Club, old like Seagram's.
Canadian Club.
But I
blended.
think that, you know, part of the reason that the bourbon industry was doing that was because they were trying to catch up with some of the space, you know, from the Scotch, the blended Scotches that were out there, the blended Canadian whiskeys. So I think the idea was, oh, well, shit, we need to do the same thing because, you know, obviously the bourbon was in a state of decline and they were trying to figure out ways to do it. So I think they kind of turned onto that, which was not their saving grace.
Can I ask a follow-up question to that? Who's
Yeah.
your favorite blended whiskey? Like,
Oh,
who puts out some of your favorite blended whiskeys?
That is actually where I was just going to go next, to some of the ones that I've had that I think are done really well and why they're done well. Before they became RD1, they were William Tarr Distillery, and their first product out was the Manchester Reserve, which was a blended, you could call it like a blended whiskey, but it was a blend of rye, a rye whiskey and a bourbon whiskey together. I don't remember exactly what like the breakdown of each was, but they had to call it an American whiskey. It wasn't a bourbon, it wasn't a rye. but they came out with what was essentially a blended whiskey at the time. And I thought it was a hit. I thought it was really good, the Manchester Reserve.
I agree with that one because it was like a 7-year-old bourbon and an 8-year-old rye or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's listed as a 7-year-old on the label, but yeah, I agree, Matt. That's a good choice.
I think Barrel Craft does a good job of it. A lot of their blends, if you look at them, they're like pulling Canadian rye whiskeys in with a bunch of different bourbons. I think they do a great job. And one of my favorite examples is Kings County in New York. They have
You're such a homer for Kings County,
Kings
man.
County
when you
is
do
so
it well,
I know, man.
they're blended whiskey, and they release the mash bills right on it, but it is like a blend of bourbon whiskey. They have their rye whiskey in there as well. They have a little bit of like their peated, like they just kind of like mix a little bit of everything in there and bring in this hodgepodge of what they call blended whiskey. I think it's a fun category, and I think it really stretches the imagination and also the talent and the creativity of the teams at these distilleries, because you could take a bunch of like leftover barrel spill, put it together and call it a blended whiskey, and would it be good? I don't know, but to actually have a purpose for doing all of this, I think it could be a really fun place to see things going.
Yeah, that's a good point. My second, because I did have a number 2, I love the aged whiskeys that are being released, the aged bourbons, the aged ryes. It seems like there's been more and more. I hate the price point, obviously, but everything that I've been having, like the Hardin's Creek in the 17-year range, the William Heaven Hill 15, that Nelson Brothers Rye 15, all these things that are in that.
I still dream about that.
That 15, that 15 to 17-year-old, Buckners did their 13.
Yeah,
it's like,
I was going to say,
so I mean, all these different brands that have put out these 13 to 17-year-old whiskeys, I love them. I mean, that's like, to me, the sweet spot. Even rye or bourbon, for some reason, I'm just really into those.
Hit or miss on some of those, because I feel like a lot of times the price point doesn't necessarily reflect what you're getting inside.
I agree. If it's priced, I will pay a premium price as long as it's like the Nelson's rye.
All day.
All day.
But what if that weren't as good though?
If it
what
wasn't,
what if you didn't know?
I know.
If you were just going into it blind and you saw like, all right, 15-year and the price tag.
But that's what we're here for, because we can tell people this is like the best rye I've ever had, or one of the best ryes I've ever had. And if all of us are in agreement to that, because I think on our show, we've all kind of gone nuts about that 15-year-old rye. So I think, somebody that's willing to spend the $300, I think they would know, based on what they've heard from us in the past, if we're all like, this is great whiskey, then I think someone would probably feel comfortable spending the $300 to do it. But
and something that I always tell people too is like, because I wish I would have known this whenever I first got started in my bourbon journey, as everyone likes to say, but like, you don't know what you don't know. So if you're willing to shell out $100+ on a bottle, first take yourself over to a bar and buy a pour of it, because you're going to spend $25 maybe on something, and you might go, meh, it's okay.
Good point.
And you're going to know, instead of wasting $200 on a bottle, and it might suck. So
great advice. So what trends, the counter to that, the trends that we've seen in 2023, what do you want to see? I'm going to tell you mine first, since Stacy stole mine. We talked about.
You dare steal mine.
No. Amberana finish. I'm a big fan of Amberana finished whiskey. I've enjoyed what people have put out, and there have been some. Already One had a great one. Talking about One.
Theirs was really good.
Rare Character, I think, has had some good Amberana stuff as well that Chad's let us sample on. So there have been good ones that have been out there, but there's only so many Cinnamon Toast Crunch whiskeys that I can drink. So I think the whole Amberana. I think we have seen the gamut. I think we've seen as much.
What's going to be the next wood, though?
Well, that's true. There probably will be something that somebody comes up with. But I think Amberana's kind of seen its course run. And I'm hoping that brands will realize that and be like, okay, what's next? So, all right, Stacey, now you can go.
This is a hard one, because I enjoy toasted things, obviously, when I'm drinking a toasted rye. But I feel like there's so many things. It's like toasted this, toasted that, toasted.
Yeah.
Some of them are really great. Some of them are such a heavy char on that toast that it's like, I don't know. It takes away from it. I don't know. There's some brands that do it really well and some not so much.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I would like to see if we are going to continue this toasting phase, which I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I want to see more toasted ryes.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of brands that don't really dabble much with the ryes, but I think that, and a lot of people don't drink ryes, especially starting out. I think it's a nice way to kind of like, it's a nice gateway into ryes. Yeah. So I will say overall, I'm over the toasted stuff, but I want to see some more toasted ryes out there if we're going to continue to toast everything.
That's a good one. Matt, you got something, anything?
He's just
happy to be here.
Of course I'm happy to be here.
He loves everything about things whiskey.
I'm tired of prices creeping up the way they are.
That was my number 2. I mean, as much as I love old whiskeys, it's like regular whiskeys are,
It's easy for me to sit here and complain about prices not being the owner of a brand, distillery,
right,
non-NDP, non-NP,
non-producing distiller, non-distilling producer, NDP,
NDP.
Sorry,
it's a lot of acronyms.
So
it is a lot.
It's really easy for me and for everyone in the industry to say, "Oh, these prices are out of control. I can't believe what's going on." But
it's true though.
Come on, there is so much I want to try, and so much that I'd love to share with people, but I can't bring myself to shell out $80 just to get in the door on something new, or even like to look at $65 and say, oh, that seems reasonable. Like, does that seem reasonable though?
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
Is $70 for a bottle reasonable when it's not something you've ever had before from someone you've never heard of before, or you've only heard of before?
Yeah. And it's hard on those situations to do Stacy's advice, because a lot of these smaller craft distillers, they don't have their stuff in bars. They don't have that distribution. So it's hard, unless you've got good friends, that somebody could shoot you a sample or something, or, tell you you're going to like this. If you don't have that luxury, then I agree, Matt. And that was my number 2, that was going to be, even though I just said I loved not higher price, I love higher age, and the price comes with that. Well, but still, I mean, like Booker's, I love Booker's, but I'm having a harder time these days spending $107 or whatever to buy a bottle of 6 or 7 month old Booker's. Back in the day, it was $60 or whatever. It was like, oh yeah, I'll buy this all day long. It wasn't
even that long ago.
It wasn't, like 3 years ago, right? I mean, and even my favorite, Elijah Craig, $65 a bottle. Now we're looking at $89, $90, and these barrel picks pushing $100.
So I'm going to ask a question. Do you think that, obviously, inflation, right?
Sure, right.
But do you think that they're like, testing the waters, like, well, so-and-so just upped their bottle price $20.
It could be.
And people are still buying the hell out of it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it too. And now everybody's like, well, hell, if we can make more money.
Yeah, but
why not?
It's a fine line to walk, because at what point do people say, well, screw this, I'm going to switch over to something else, or I'm going to just go back to drinking vodka. I mean, not that people are going to do that necessarily, but you can price a lot of people out of the marketplace, or they're just going to be screwed. I'm just going to buy a bottom shelfer and just mix it in a cocktail and not worry about, drinking.
I'm all about some bottom shelf life. I don't care.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. Like Old Granddad 114, it's not really bottom shelfer. It's $29 a bottle, but geez.
It's affordable.
I mean, 114 proof Old Granddad, I'll buy it all day long. But yeah, so let's talk about the good points, all these that you guys made for sure. Let's jump back to the whiskey, since we're at the end of round.
You go ahead and tell us what you're getting on that.
Man, it just comes through. I hadn't had a drink in a minute or two here. There's I get a nice little aftertaste of almost like leather that's on there, but that spice.
Leather glove.
When I was a kid, did I ever tell you that story? I used to chew it. Yeah.
Are you from Eastern Kentucky?
I'm from Eastern Kentucky. Do you know that? I did Ironman too. I don't know if you knew that, but
I think he's an attorney.
I am an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know I'm a native Kentuckian from Eastern Kentucky?
Had no idea.
How many times have you graduated from UK?
3 times now.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's right.
Big
3
time
times.
stuff.
That's right. You can call me doctor if you want to. Do you know I was a Kentucky colonel? I don't think I've shared that one, have I?
So what do you think about the
Phillips
taste?
is
I know
Yeah.
isn't that awesome? Did I tell you I was one of 5 masters of bourbon in the world?
Oh my God. What do you get
What
on
do
the
I
palate
get?
master of bourbon?
Yeah, right?
The sweetness, kind of that, again, kind of the maple syrupiness, the sweetness comes through, but the initial thing that hit me was that spiciness. There's just a spice on the palate that's just like there. Wow. I'm a rye whiskey. It makes itself known, but it's not overpowering. But I really enjoy it. And that finish goes on. Mm-hmm. It's a combination of sweetness, like that maple syrupy vanilla-ish again, but that spiciness that lingers on the end. I don't know if it's a peppercorn or cinnamon.
I'm not getting as much cinnamon on this as I thought I would.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a bolder spice. It's not a sweet spice. So to me, that doesn't translate like cinnamon. It's more peppercorny to me. So that's kind of my plan. Matt, what do you think?
I agree with you. A lot of times when people think toasted and what they get is like they just want sweet and they want that campfire and they want marshmallows and they want graham crackers. And the nice thing that I like about Michter's toasted rye is it's a rye. It's rye forward. It's spicy right on the front of the palate. It reminds you that you're drinking rye whiskey.
Yeah.
It's good peppercorn, nice wake up, bright front of the palate spice on it. Then it lends to those wood sugars and that beautiful toasted wood flavor and aroma as it comes down the palate. Near the end, I'm picking up, it's getting, the sweetness is like orange marmalade.
I knew you were going to
Kind
go
of
back
sweetness.
in. Ooh.
Yeah.
On the back with it, and like cloves. You get a lot of clove on this, kind of those like Christmas cloves and like chocolate, almost like what are those English chocolate covered oranges
Oh,
that
yeah.
I'm thinking. I forget the name of them.
I don't remember.
I want to call them like Pims or Bips or something, but I think I'm wrong. But
okay.
Absolutely excellent, wonderful rye whiskey.
Stacy?
Second what Matt said. I get a little bit of like Fig Newton.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
But as you mentioned, that you can really taste that this is a rye, which obviously I appreciate.
Yeah.
But the nice toast qualities there, they are not overpowering, but it kind of helps just like round this out and make it a lot more, I don't know. It's like fall in a glass to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's delicious. But Fig Newton really shone through on this one.
What I want to do is like get a big pan of bacon and then just eat bacon and drink this because it's got like a maple syrupy, peppery flavor to it, and just add that bacon with it. So it'd be like a nice maple syrup peppered bacon. Matt, can you do that? Can you make us that for Thanksgiving? Just make some
just want
bacon.
bacon?
Just make some bacon and we'll have this again.
You just want a tray of bacon?
No, can you just
I brought the bacon.
Can you do something?
I'll call it
no, I
dinner.
don't want you cooking with this though. Can you find something and replicate that? Use a rye whiskey to do that.
Sure, we can figure something.
Matt's good at that. So, all right, guys, what we've made it.
But first, fixture or mixture?
Well, $120. I don't know, but no, yeah, this is definitely fixture.
I was going to say we were just talking shit about prices, but this is one. It's consistently excellent.
Yep.
Every release
is.
Definite fixture.
Yeah, I think if I were at a liquor store and I saw it, I would have to just like buy it and like get out of the store before I could really think about
that you just did that, right?
But it's so good.
the price.
It's
yeah,
so good.
And they only really last time this came out was
2019.
19
See, I
rings
don't
a bell.
remember when it was. But
So it's like
Because I am still holding on to mine
Yeah.
from 2019.
I have one too as well from then because they rotate all their toasts between
It's,
like
it's dwindling.
the toasted rye, the toasted sour mash, toasted
oh,
bourbon,
okay,
and
gotcha.
Of the toasted products, this is my favorite.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Good
I'm
job,
thankful.
Michters.
Thankful to have it. Appreciate
Yeah,
Michter's.
thanks, Michters.
Yeah,
sending
thank you all
that.
so
So
much.
it wasn't we didn't have to spend $120 on it, which I
Yeah,
still would.
Thank you.
But yeah, very nice. All right, guys, final thoughts. Matt, anything you want to add before we close it up tonight?
Always good to sit around the table with y'all.
Yeah.
Same.
Screw Chad and Philip.
I'm really glad that we did a rye episode. I love rye, so this was...
I'm going to have to come up with a catchy name for this one.
All right.
Oh, God. Wow. I think I've seen that somewhere before.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, somebody's giving final thoughts. Matt, I'm sorry. Did you already finish?
He did.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
And I finished, so go
That was
ahead.
it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Whatever time of day it is.
Morning, noon, or night.
Thank you, Matt. Whenever it is you get your Bourbon Life fix, we appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us banter on for an hour and a half about stuff in general. We appreciate that. We do appreciate all of our sponsors. Thank you guys for everything you do for us. We could not do this show without your help, so thank you for that. We appreciate you, our listeners, as well. If you want to find more information, you can find us on Instagram at The Bourbon Life or Facebook as well at The Bourbon Life, or join our private Facebook group, The Bourbon Lifers. It's a good little group of people we got on there. I say little group, it's about 2,000 people now. So,
How about the YouTube, though?
we do have YouTube. That's right. You can watch us on YouTube, man. I keep forgetting to. Dang, thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.
Yes, we are on YouTube, so you can see our faces that were made for radio. Except for Stacy. Stacy was made for this.
And Stacey, where can everybody find you?
Oh, that's right.
More information on you.
Yeah, where are they
on
going to find
Instagram?
you?
Well,
Since you brought it up.
I am at Freckled and Charred on Instagram. I'm not putting out my Facebook. No,
There you go.
that's for personal reasons.
That's right. Don't like me. Don't friend me.
Don't friend me on
try
Facebook.
Don't talk to me.
That's right.
Don't
Matt,
you
where
do
can people
it.
find you on Instagram?
I don't know. Where can they?
Not Matt Hughes.
We keep
We're gonna-
talking
I
about
know.
making him a page.
I'm gonna
Not
fi-
Matt.
somebody took a
Find me
picture of him.
at not Matt.
Somebody took a picture of him in that suit. I'm going to find it, and I know it's got to be out there somewhere. I'm going to find it, and we're
And we're
creating
going to create the
an
page.
Instagram
Merry
of
Christmas.
not Matt Hughes. And yeah, exactly right. Let me get back to this. So yes, join us on YouTube. You can watch us now. We have a great time with making videos. I love editing video.
That was sarcasm again,
but
if
it's
you guys
fun.
didn't pick
Oh,
up
I
on
do
that.
need to tell everybody, of course, the whiskey trip. Check Big Tex, or Big Chief, as he calls himself. Matt calls him Big Tex. But the whiskey trip comes out under our umbrella of the Bourbon Life every Tuesday. So check out what Mike's doing. He's doing some great guests. He does a lot of craft distilleries.
And he loves Old Tub.
God, he's going to kill you.
Bring it.
But he does a great job. Enjoy working with him, and happy to have him as part of our crew as well. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up. Send us home with our tagline, which is, may your glasses always be full, and may you keep on living the bourbon life.
Cue the violin.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Bourbon Life Podcast. Our mission at the Bourbon Life is simple: to share our passion for all things bourbon with you every week. And we'd really love to hear your thoughts on how we're doing. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at The Bourbon Life. You can also contact us by email at thebourbonlife@gmail.com. And you can always find us on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a moment, we'd love it if you would rate us and give us a review. So until next week, we hope your glass is always full and that you keep on living the bourbon life.